Hello everybody, Shelly here. I thought it'd be kind of fun to show you some of the palettes because I've an extensive collection. Thought it'd be fun to show you some of the palettes that I'm using through the next month or so. Probably 5 or 6 weeks, truth be told. Might get all the way through January with this selection of palettes because I just kind of wanted to get familiar with them, get comfortable with them, maybe revisit a couple of them. And I think this gives me a pretty good range of color stories that will get me through really the holiday season and into the first month of the year before I really get into the pinks and purples and plums that I'm really excited about because I've got a bunch of palettes that I want to play with that are all going to be in that color story. So anyway, if you're at all interested, go ahead and keep watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to try to do a giveaway at 250 subscribers. I'm contemplating right now, so I have a collection of products that I've been putting aside. I haven't added anything to them, nor have I even touched them or looked at them in months. However, being cognizant of COVID and things like that, I might do a gift card at 250 subscribers instead of doing that and just have it sent directly to whoever the winner is. So if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when I upload. Currently uploading Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That'll probably change the beginning of the year, but we'll talk about that later. So right now we're talking about the palettes that I'm excited to use. I'm shopping my own stash. I'm shopping palettes that I currently already have. Some of these are relatively new, but some of them are not. So be curious to see what you guys think of these palettes and if you are using similar ones or if you have these ones and if you want to see videos with these. Since I am spending more time with these this next 5 or so weeks, let me know if you want to see a video of any of them and I'll put together either a quick look or 3 looks with 1 palette. You know, your call. Just leave me a comment down below. All right, you guys. So the first one on the list is actually the Alter Ego Sahara palette. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Biba palette. And it is gorgeous. I recently used this on a video where I duped the Natasha Denona Peak palette because some of the colors were supposedly taken from her original Biba palette and I kind of wanted to do a comparison contrast. And I got to tell you, the Alter Ego formula is fantastic. This particular palette is out of stock, unfortunately. I would love it if it was back in. The original Natasha Denona Biba palette is $129. This from Alter Ego is $16. So obviously this is the one that I have. I bought this before I started kind of collecting the Natasha Denona, and I haven't quite decided to pull the trigger and buy the original, you know, non-duped, authentic version of it. But I really do love this color story. Let me know what you think. I really like it. Okay, along the same kind of price point, maybe a little bit less expensive, is the C Color Cosmetics Savannah palette. This is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Safari palette, I believe. And it's all mattes. And I got it because I do have a few metallics, chromes, multi-chromes that are kind of fun to use as an accent. But I really wanted to get more familiar with this particular all matte palette because I think that there's some beautiful color stories in here. You get a little bit more of the kind of orangey, warm brown russets, plums, and then some, you know, these kind of cooler, almost like a blue tone base, but with an olive green that I think is really pretty because I'm just a big fan of that. Kind of lighter grays and then this teal blue color. But for being all mattes, I just haven't played around with it as much as I have. And I had pulled it out recently for that Peak palette dupe video. Still haven't used it. So that's time to get familiar with it, get comfortable with it. Okay, speaking of kind of that less expensive price point, half of these are pretty inexpensive, budget friendly, and then the other half are a little bit pricier. More, I don't want to call them like super high end, but they've got some price tags on it. Another palette I'm using is, this is a Morphe palette. This is the 9W Smoke and Shadow palette. I don't know that I'll have a reason to go like super smoky glam anytime soon. This is not a daytime palette. This is more of a date night palette. And I don't even know that I'm going to be going on any dates because of the whole COVID thing. But it does have some really pretty colors that if you can look past the grays, you've got kind of these colors that are intriguing. So I'm excited to play with this because I have not yet. So that is the Morphe 9W Smoke and Shadow palette. And I do believe it is still available. I think I saw pretty good sales on Morphe products right now. Like you could probably get it for maybe like $8. It's really, really good deals. Okay, 2 other palettes that I want to get more familiar with. These are the Huda Beauty Haze Obsessions palettes. One of them is Sand. I've already done a video on this with the looks on it, but I really find that I enjoy reaching for it just for like a day-to-day, everyday kind of look. It suits me. And when I first bought it, I didn't think it was going to. I really thought the khaki palette was going to be the one that, oh my gosh, the khaki palette's going to be everything I want. I was sort of uninspired by it, truth be told, but the Sand palette I actually really like. And then during the recent Sephora VIB haul sale, I picked up the Purple Haze palette. I know I said I'm going to start playing around with more purples, you know, towards February, March, that time frame. And that's what I'm anticipating anyway. But this does have, you know, some, if you look at just that first quad right there, those are neutral everyday colors. And then you've got some fun, sparkly, pretty bits that you can throw on to either smoke it up for something a little bit more fun, not work related, not Zoom call related, or as far as I'm concerned, these can be liners. So I want to play with this a little bit more. I've had it out for a while and I just haven't dipped into it. Too many palettes, too little time. A couple other Natasha Denona palettes that I want to get more familiar with. One of them is the Mini Glam palette. Now I do have the larger Glam palette. This came out way earlier than the big 15 pan Glam palette. I don't know. Anyway, I like this kind of like cool sort of khaki color story. I think this color story is more of what I thought the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze palette was going to be like. I like this. I've only used it a few times, so I want to get back into it. And then I also have the Natasha Denona Mini Sunset palette. Funny thing about this is I almost bought this again on accident because I forgot that I had Sunset. I don't have her big Sunset palette. I do have a dupe for it. So I may try to compare this, at least these shadows, right? Because you've got 5 of them in here. Maybe compare these exact 5 with the dupe that I have. See how they compare. I think dupe videos are fun. I got into YouTube because of dupe videos. Okay, this is a palette that I recently pulled out because I filmed a Colored Rain winter beauty bundle, mystery beauty bundle haul, and this is the only Colored Rain palette I've had. This is the Queen of Hearts. It is not new. It's been out for a very long time. I used it the other day and created a look, and my husband was like, wow, your makeup is really pretty. So now of course I want to play with it some more. So we're gonna play with this palette. If you guys have this palette and you love it, let me know. If you don't love it, let me know that too. I would love to know. If you've seen other people's videos on it and you were really inspired by it, leave me that link or shoot me a DM over on Instagram and tell me, you know, whose videos you saw with this that you really liked. I think I've only ever seen one other YouTuber do a video, and that was this last summer. Crazy, I know. But it's fun. It's, you know, I've got this crazy orange in here that just brings a smile to my face. You've got some purples. Look at those yummy colors. Aren't those fun? I don't know. This feels like a fun, I'm gonna call it a, let's see, that one got a little patchy, didn't it? I'll have to play with these. We'll have to see how they look when you apply to an eye. But I want to get more familiar with this, more comfortable with it. It's got a few purples in here, but we're gonna look past that. We're gonna pretend that I'm not in love with purples right now. Okay, I have 2 Viseart palettes that I picked up at Sephora last summer maybe. One of them is the Petite Pro 2, and when they say petite, they really do mean petite. These are tiny, and again, we do have some kind of purple tones. They're kind of pop at this like corally orangey color, but because I haven't ever really played with these all that much, I mean, a couple times, but not really gotten comfortable with them. I did see that BoxyCharm, I think on an add-on, as well as maybe a choice item, had some Viseart. Maybe it wasn't a choice, maybe it was just an add-on. Had some Viseart palettes. I know that there are people that are like die-hard, love Viseart. I just think that the palettes, you know, when people are doing those tag videos, these are the palettes that I would say, these are my smallest eyeshadow palettes. And while you do have 8 shadows in here, they're tiny. Maybe that's all you need. It seemed like the price point was more than I expected them to be. Like, I think these were like 30 bucks. I can't really remember. Anyway, I like the greens. This gives me some of those kind of fall greens. It's just largely cool toned with this bronze in here and this kind of pink transition shade, but 4 mattes and 4 shimmers. And I thought, you know what? that can actually get me like a week's worth of looks. Okay, the last palette that I'm getting into for the rest of December, most of January, is the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. I've wanted to film with this, and I just haven't yet. So I figured I'm not gonna wait to film with it before I use it. But this looks to me like an everyday neutral, more on the cool toned. So if you're one of those gals that just shies away from the super warm neutrals and really wants the cool tone neutrals, this to me is the bigger, cheaper version of Natasha Denona Glam. So I might have to compare and contrast the two and see what we come up with. This feels like the cooler version of Bare Necessities, and I love that palette. ColourPop, not super expensive. I think I ordered this when it first came out. I just knew, I knew. Not everybody loves the big palettes, right? Some people don't like the one with all the choices, but they want the little ones that are compact and easy to throw in a purse, or easy to throw in a go bag or carry on if you were traveling anywhere. Yeah, this one has, the Stone Cold has 30 shades in it. This is by far the biggest palette that I have that I'm gonna be playing with over the next couple of months. Okay. Just dropped one, but I don't think it broke. All right, you guys, leave me a comment down below. Tell me, are there other palettes that you guys are playing with right now that are, I don't know, fitting into a variety of lifestyle, just color stories that you're playing with right now? I don't know if you're leaving or if you're staying home and kind of trying to avoid being out in public or avoiding the holidays or what, but this is what I'm playing with right now. This is kind of like my Shop My Stash Shelley edition. Here's what I'm playing with. I hope you guys are doing really well, and yeah. Until my next visit. Bye for now.